Welcome back to Podcast Recovery, everyone. We're your hosts, David O.
And Eric B.
And tonight, not today, we're actually doing a night special.
It's almost like prime time.
Monday night, prime time. Yeah, right before Monday Night Football. Our very good friend, Michelle Y. is joining us. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight? Prime time.
Yeah, prime time. I'm doing well. How about you, Eric?
I'm good, you know.
Feels like Eric is like God.
Oh God! Don't do that to him.
I love it.
Don't.
It's almost like
you just inflated his ego to a level that was completely unnecessary. Oh God damn it! Where are you from? Where are you from? Michelle?
Like, that's a loaded question because I'm Korean. So people are like, "Where are you from?" And I'll be like, "Oh, Columbia, Maryland." Oh, yeah. But now Hanover, Maryland. And they'll be like, "No, where are you really from?" I'm like.
Oh, that's
You're
rude.
from Columbia.
That's
Hanover?
Fucking, yeah,
and they're like,
well,
no, where are your parents from?
Well, that's
South or
rude.
North Korea? I'd be like, South Korea.
Yeah, South Korea.
Don't hit me.
It's like, I grew up in, Howard County as well, and we just have, the Ellicott City is now Korean town.
Are we going to talk about Koreatown?
Korea way.
Yeah,
Okay.
Korea way, yeah.
한국 나라.
So you can speak Korean?
Yes.
Oh, David's going to love that for the end of the pod.
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely going to make you speak some Korean.
Okay.
So you're like obviously you're from Columbia, Ellicott City, then you're very familiar with like Koreatown and all of the stuff
but
on Route 40 and
I am very familiar with it, but I was actually raised, so it's a weird story. I was born in Maryland. My parents moved around a lot because of
Korean parents or adopted?
Korean parents.
Okay. I didn't know. I was just asking.
I didn't mean to look at you like that.
No.
I was so confused.
No
one's asked me that before.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of. Am I wrong?
No.
Okay.
No,
okay.
I mean, my sister-in-law's
question.
boyfriend's Korean. He's adopted, so it's fair.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's
common.
fair. I actually was born in Maryland. I grew up in Connecticut, where the only other Korean was adopted.
Okay.
So I was used to being like the odd
so I'm
one
not
out.
out of pocket.
No, you're not out of pocket. Trust me.
Okay, good. Wait, which high school did you go to?
I went to Longreach High School.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
you
didn't go to
graduated 05,
Centennial?
right?
06.
06. Okay.
Yep.
I'm Oakland Mills 05.
Okay.
Longreach. Where's Longreach again? I only know Centennial and Hebron.
Off of Snowden.
Yeah, off of Snowden.
Snowden.
Snowden and Tamar.
Near
Is it that big school off like 100?
Yeah, it kind of looks like a prison.
Yeah, it doesn't.
No,
Yeah, it
not off 100.
Wait,
That's Howard.
That's Howard.
That's Howard.
That's Howard. Howard
Okay.
looks old as shit. No, it's near Wegmans.
Oh.
It's on your way to Wegmans. Anyway.
It's near Chipotle.
Yes. So,
yeah.
from Columbia, South Korean.
Got it.
When were you first introduced to recovery?
I was first introduced to recovery when I was 34.
34.
Yes.
Wow.
So really late. Well, okay, that's a lie. I'm not a lie, but like I had to go to AA meetings before, court ordered, because I had a second DUI. It was a charge I had my first one at 19.
Okay.
My second one at 21,
Ooh.
and I just remember that.
So you had done drug classes and stuff.
Yeah, well, I guess more than drug classes, they had me do AA, which at the time I was with my ex-husband, who just followed me to these meetings being like, all the guys just want to fuck you. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, just get the court slip and let's go. Like, he would like, and then he started like forging it or whatever. And so it was it was not a good opening to like a recovery setting.
Yeah.
It was more like emotional
you were forced
abuse.
to be there.
Yeah.
All right. And how much clean time do you have?
I have 2 years now and a few months.
Fantastic.
It's awesome.
All right. Now, with all that out of the way, turn it over to you. Share your story with us. Take it away.
Sure.
And don't be nervous. I'm sitting here scribbling down questions.
Sitting here. Okay. That's cool. So like I said, I was raised in Connecticut, and I was one of the few Asian people there. And, it was very carefree, I'd say. I didn't think much different about myself. I had a lot of friends. We would play in the neighborhood, would roll down the hill, shit kids do, roll down the hill.
Where in Connecticut?
Glastonbury, Connecticut. It's about 10 minutes from Hartford.
Yeah.
And
because I know there's parts of Hartford that are not so nice.
Yeah. But Glastonbury was pretty cool. It had a lot of land, a lot of space. Like when we moved to Maryland, we were like the only one with a snowblower. Everyone would be like, "Come on over, Joseph, come snowblow our lawn," and we'd have a lot of snow. So I was a little disappointed, you know, when we had not that much snow here. But then remember there was that snow apocalypse a few years ago.
We've had some.
Yeah, so we had snow regularly, and it wasn't until like I guess. Well, when I started getting a little older, and I started realizing like I had like anxiety at that point in time.
When did you come to Maryland?
I came to Maryland in in the middle of 8th grade or end of 7th grade.
Okay.
I think it was middle of 7th grade.
Okay, so middle school. All right.
Yeah. So, and like we didn't just like move. We just like planned move. It was in the middle of the school year. My dad had an abrupt job offer. Opportunity. So I just like up and left. So I resented my parents for a while. I was like, wow. And then I come to Maryland and I go to middle school, Mayfield Middle, and there's a bunch of other Asian people, Korean people, like echo. It was so weird. It was so weird. And then for some reason they like magnetized to me. Okay, like, oh, new Korean girl, oh, so cool. And like
you doing the accent, I'm like, I feel terrible because if I did that, it would be really racist and wrong, but you're totally allowed to.
Yeah, Andy does it all the time. I think it's because he's dating me, but he's really good at it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And there was a weird like leader of the group, and she was like, oh my god, let's like befriend
the Korean
her.
mafia.
It was a Korean mafia. And then the leader was like, oh, she's trying to take all my friends / servants, and was like, let's throw shit at her at the locker, and like let's write her mean messages and on AIM.
You're like our age, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
AIM. And I was just really taken aback for a little bit because I kind of like wanted to be accepted, but then in Connecticut it was different because I was the very few Asian people there. And then I come to Maryland and I'm like,
you're in a big Asian culture.
I'm in the big Asian culture. And then for some reason I was not being accepted here either because of cliques and weirdos.
And I'm sure
the Korean mafia.
And all those Koreans had been together for however many years in school together. Exactly. So they had their friendship circles.
So middle of middle school is tough.
That's tough.
It's a tough transition. I ended up, still making friends. I had a few other close friends and I got to like branch out, but I still, oh, and by the way, like the next year, the Korean mafia leader left and then everyone became friends with me. It was like a weird switch. And so like, I don't know. I was always trying to fit in. My father worked a lot, as I said, like a work-based move. He was a workaholic. I didn't see him very much, but he still showed his love and support by like working a lot, coming to some of my swim meets. I did a lot of.
Oh, you were on swim team?
Yeah. So
okay, so we definitely swam against each other as kids.
You think so?
Yeah, I was.
Were you on the swim team?
Hell yeah.
Oh, I can't remember right now if I continued swimming in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
It's in Connecticut, so we might not have. And my parents put me in everything. So like his way of showing his love and support was like putting me in piano at age 5.
Yes.
Did it for a decade. Putting me in violin lessons. I did figure skating. I did swimming at 5.
So wait, you did figure skating?
Yes.
Okay, I worked at the ice rink as well.
Okay, remember I'm in Connecticut.
Okay, so you're figure skating in Connecticut.
Yes,
okay.
I'm doing all these things in Connecticut.
Okay, gotcha. All
right. But dang, you've had a lot of jobs. Yeah, I'm
very Columbia. It's like, oh, you worked at the Columbia Ice Rink? Oh, you were on swim team? You played soccer? Oh, shit.
But yeah, in Connecticut, I was doing all these things and I kept myself very busy, right? And I remember though being like so used to just like going and like having to practice piano, not really loving it, but you're like 5. Like,
yeah,
so
I can relate. I understand.
Having to sit and do like piano, and then like my piano teacher was like super depressed, and like it was really sad because she was elderly and her husband died a few years ago before, and like she would be like smoking cigarettes and teaching me piano, and
Fuck yeah.
I'd be like, oh, smoking is not good for you, Miss whatever, and she'd be like, faster for me to die. She would say faster for me to like die and meet my husband and wherever. I was like,
oh my god, Jesus. Okay.
And I don't know. I think I was just used to weird things like that. I have a lot of family.
Now, am I wrong, or is that just something that's like really common in Asian cultures? Is to
having a big family?
Well, not only that,
what
but
about
like
Catholics.
No.
I'm both.
No. I mean, let me speak. No, I just mean kind of not necessarily like overwhelming your kids, but kind of overwhelming your kids, and like violin, piano. They're gonna like.
Yeah.
I like from because I've grown up in Colombia as well. I have lots of Korean and Japanese friends, and like their parents were always like very like, you're gonna do all these things, and just constantly stack them up with so many things when they're young.
Yeah. I think it's also
it's not a bad thing, but sorry.
It's louder.
Sorry.
It's okay. I think it's also like their way of trying to make up for their childhood because they came from like they immigrated to United States, but like second generation, and they were living in poverty.
Yeah.
So they are just used.
Yeah, they're just trying to give their kids the best advantages.
Yeah,
that they can do.
And unfortunately, some kids, like I was one of them. Like I just took advantage of that. Not that I would say it was a completely me just feeling entitled. Like there were a lot of other things going on.
Yeah.
I had a big family, and I was born into a Catholic family, like born into Catholicism. Like my mother's side is very religious, and I have a Catholic priest uncle. Andy calls it prunkle. So I got a prunkle in Korea, and he has written several books. And like I was, and I was like the niece who got pregnant before marriage, like. So there was a lot of that, but I'm kind of going all over the place.
No.
I'm putting in the pieces as we go along. I think I kind of wanted that male attention because I wasn't getting it from my dad, and also on the flip side, on the other side of that is like I didn't know how to express emotion because like it is cultural, but in my family we never talked about our feelings. My mother didn't talk to me about anything. She would nag me to like practice piano or eat your dinner or stop getting up and walking around during dinner, like why are you upstairs, like things like that. But I don't think we ever sat and like really talked about how we feel, and that's so important. That's why I do that with my own kids. So there was like a moment. So I was like, I don't know, kind of like making it a little dark for a second. Sorry. I was like kind of molested by a family member when I was a kid. I was like 10 or 12, and like I remember them being like, because it was a cousin, and it only happened once, and they were like, oh, okay, why didn't you tell him to do this, or why didn't you tell him to stop, or like and I like reached out, told them about what happened, and they were just like, they didn't know like how to process it, or they were just like, why didn't you just tell him stop playing around? I'm like, this isn't a joke.
Making it your problem.
Exactly. It made me feel really uncomfortable. So I think from that point on, I just stopped like sharing anything with family, especially if they're going to react like that. And I also kind of refound the other Koreans, but not the ones that study all the time, the ones that drink all the time. So at 15, I found myself like going to pool halls a lot. I found myself.
I was talking about the pool halls.
Centennial Q. There we go.
Oh,
CQ.
You guys had.
Did you used to do karaoke up at Centennial Q?
I used to. Yeah, actually, I did.
I did as well.
Yeah.
Dude, Centennial Q was awesome.
I literally probably like passed by you so many times.
Oh
there.
Yeah, 100%.
I would go there and play pool. I would say I would go study. But I would go play pool, and then finally, At 15, there was a guy who took interest in me who was 18, and I was like, oh, this is cool, an older guy, but it's like not cool at all. It's statutory rape, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he took me to an underage bar because there's still a lot of those, like literally in Baltimore. Like I went to one.
You could
Excuse me, what?
You can be 18 and it was kind of like you got like an X or whatever.
Completely unaware of this.
Yeah,
there was a few of them around.
Nope.
Yeah, it was in Baltimore.
Nope. Did not know that.
He took me there, and I had my first drink. It was like a double shot of Johnny Walker Black.
Whoa, starting strong.
Yeah, I remember.
For you.
I guess so. Everything was spinning. I remember like trying to fit into the wall. It was weird. And so like, after that, it wasn't like I was consistently drinking, but I had found like there was a lot more on the other side. Like I would have fun. I would feel good. I was accepted, you know? So I started sneaking out.
A new door had been opened to you.
Exactly. Once that door opens, it's hard to shut. I would sneak out my dad's car. He had like a Hyundai Tiburon then. I would drive it.
Oh, come on. That's really... a Korean family driving a Hyundai? Like, come on. That's way too stereotypical.
I'm a stereotypical ass Korean who doesn't date any other Korean men.
What
I know.
What kind of car you drive? A Hyundai. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And
never a Toyota.
Yeah. But it's funny because right now I drive a Toyota.
Oh, you blasphemy.
Dishonor.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So like I would just I forgot what the hell I was saying.
Opening up. So you'd just taken your first drink, you would take your dad's car out.
Oh yeah, I would take my dad's car out. I would sneak it out in my bed. I would put a bunch of clothes, like stuff my bed full of clothes, put a black shirt for the hair, all that shit, and just leave and like come back. And I guess they didn't know. But and, like even though I never put gas in, like I don't know. I would have found out. I know now.
Yeah.
That my kids ain't gonna do shit.
Oh yeah.
Past my eyes. Like I say that because like I've done it all. You know.
Oh yeah.
But that's like what I did, and I would drive a lot, go drink some on the weekends, and then like I remember like randomly Long Range was kind of crazy then. You know, it's been on World Star Hip Hop before too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like remember I was like
it's been what?
On World Star Hip Hop.
What is that?
The website, right?
Yeah.
The old website.
Oh.
It's like the stuff that you can't post on YouTube.
Yeah. It was kind of like E-Bombs World.
Okay.
Back in the day.
I remember E-Bombs. Yes.
Yeah. It's similar to that.
Okay.
It's mostly lots of clips of people fighting.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Oakland Mills was on there a few times too.
Cool. So
yeah, the one kid from Oakland Mills picked up a microwave and hit the other kid with
a
it.
microwave.
Jesus.
Yeah. Now it's on
heck?
YouTube. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, send it to me later.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, I would. God, I forgot what I was saying again.
World Star Hip Hop. Long Reach was crazy back then.
Yeah, Long Reach was crazy.
Yeah, early 2000s.
Yeah, I remember like there was a few friends who were known to just like do all the drugs.
Oh yeah,
and you know they would like one of my friends.
Dude, I hung out with a whole bunch of people from Long Reach back then because we're a year apart.
Right.
So like there was definitely a crossover of people you knew and I knew.
Yeah, there's someone I knew that isn't around anymore because a lot of people from my graduating class passed away from addiction and other freak accidents. Like,
did you know a guy named Brandon?
Brandon who?
Joyce.
That sounds really familiar.
He was your grade at Long Reach.
Is he not here anymore?
No, he died.
Yeah. Do you know Nick Titches? Nicholas Titches.
Maybe
he was one of those who passed away from drugs. I remember in high school he would come up and be like, "Whoa, man, your sweater just feels so cool, man." He would be like tripping on E, in the middle of class. I was like, okay. And then like I had a friend who was like very, very innocent looking, the most innocent looking Filipino girl you'll ever see, and she would like robo trip all the time.
Jesus
and I was
Christ.
like, wonder what that's like. So I decided to try it one time, like a dumbass.
What was her name?
Abby. I feel like
just first name.
Abigail.
Okay.
No. Okay.
Because I knew a Filipino girl from Long Reach, and I'm like,
That's like one thing I've never done is robo tripping.
Yeah. Oh my god, robo tripping was great.
Terrible.
It was terrible.
It was so bad.
There's a few episodes of Intervention that like scared me away from like bad. Dust off and robo tripping were like two things I was like, that's a little too far.
I did both of those things.
It's a little crazy.
Dust off is disgusting.
It is.
That was horrendous. That was a terrible month.
I don't think I've ever done dust off.
Don't.
Yeah.
It's fucking horrendous. Dude, the last time I did it, I literally had it up, the canister up to my lips, and I was like, I am a piece of shit. I was like, this is disgusting. And I was just like, I'm done. I was like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Where are the other drugs?
Is it the thing that literally dusts off things?
Yeah.
What? You can inhale those?
Yeah. Well, everybody out there, don't even fucking think about it. It's disgusting. It kills massive amounts of brain cells.
Can we be honest? You can theoretically inhale most things. You just don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Right?
They're
it's
fucking
poison.
Terrible. Inhalants are just, ugh.
Yeah,
it's bad news.
It's just, it's bad. I think.
Anyway, innocent girl robo tripping.
Yeah, and then I would just like date people, but like not invest in them. Mm-hmm. So like with my emotions, like it was almost like I didn't know how to like truly be in a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, we were teenagers. Who did know how to be in a relationship? Really?
Yeah, that's true. Really. So I had trouble with commitment, and so I would just be like dating someone just because I liked the attention, and then like I would just end it and like go date someone else and be like, oh, this is interesting, and then like after high school is the only time I ever dated like other Korean guys, or other Asian guys. No, other Korean guys. And then I had my first solid like relationship, solid meaning like long term. I dated this Thai guy who was 6'4", by the way. Yeah. Everyone looked at us like 5'1" Korean girl with a 6'4" Thai guy, and drove a cool car. Drank a lot. We just decided like we would always like go study and always end up drinking. Like it would just be weird. It was like we would study and then I started like I was going to UMBC at the time. So we dated for 2 years. So I was like in UMBC going, I'm like, I'm gonna go study at the library, and I'll like pull out beer at the library. Like who does that shit? I did. And then I ended up very bad, and it kind of shook me for a few years. It was my fault. But I still felt all the guilt and shame from it, and that's when I started smoking weed. I was mostly drinking, and then that's when I started smoking weed. And then I also like tried different drugs. Like I think I like parachuted ecstasy once. Tried to snort it. What is that? It was crazy.
What? Parachuting's when you take powder and you put it into a tissue, and then you put it down your throat.
Yeah.
What?
It's a faster way to get absorbed within the bloodstream so that you have a faster reaction. You're not waiting so long for the pill to break up in your stomach.
That's... okay. All right, moving on.
So I was
anybody. We're not giving you directions on how to do shit. We're educating David. Don't take that as an education for yourself.
Exactly.
Don't do that shit.
Podcast recovery.
That sounds
prime time.
That sounds terrible.
It was efficient.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, I was doing bad things because I hated myself. I had the first love of my life, and I ended up cheating on him. I ended up breaking lots of trust. I really I was friends with all his friends. I was like friends with his parents, and it just like crushed everyone. And I think it was like the woman that lived in their house, she had a nephew, and it was with her nephew, and it was a whole damn thing. I just ended up like for the next 2 years just doing a lot of drugs, you know? I couldn't like get past it. It was so bad that my dad, he wanted me to do something with my life. He like put me in like real estate class. I would go to real estate class like I know. I would just go to real estate class like drunk as shit. I would like finish and just go smoke more weed, and it was just like a horrible. I didn't know how to be normal, like clean at all. Like it just spent a few years. And then I went to Korea. Like my dad thought he would like send me overseas, and then I would get better. And there's a lot of soju in Korea for very cheap. It's like the Korean vodka. It almost tastes like water. But there's a lot of different flavors too.
Question.
Yes.
What drugs are in Korea?
What drugs? I heard that I didn't do drugs in Korea. I just drank a shit ton.
You just drank? Okay.
Yeah, and smoked a lot of cigarettes. And everything was weak. It's like, I don't know, it was weird. I went there smoking like Marlboro Reds, and like it was like smoking a Marlboro Light.
Yeah,
It's like the equivalent was like, it was weird. But I think right now the bad thing in Korea is meth. Like I heard it's pretty bad down there.
That makes sense.
But yeah, so I came back and then I ended up partying my way into like Annex. I lived in Annex for a little bit. It's like where all the Micah kids lived.
Oh yeah.
Like the copycat building.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
The copycat building was a huge part of my story.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So I lived there for a while. That's how I lived there with my ex-husband. He was a student at Johns Hopkins, rooming with a bunch of
Which side did you live on?
The Annex side.
Okay.
And with the, like, it was like just,
well, there's like the front side and then the back side, sort of.
Oh,
right?
I think it was the front side.
Okay.
The one that faced the street.
They are different. Yeah.
I can't think right now, but I can't think front side, back side. So, every night was like a David Bowie film. It was like I would like wake up, go to the kitchen, people be passed on the couch with like crack pipes next to them.
Wow. Well, that's Baltimore.
Like
it's the copycat building.
I was about to say wow, and then I was like, wait a minute, never mind. That's very very routine for
that
Baltimore.
place was like one of the most surreal places I've ever been in my life. Is the copycat building. Just like you walk into a room and then like, I remember one time some guy like wouldn't let me take photos of him. He was like, "You're stealing my soul." I was like, "That's a very African way of viewing this, man."
Okay.
Like, I'm not stealing your soul. Like I just want a photo of you. You're wearing rags. You look great.
Oh my god.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, everyone was always fucked up all the time. I think I did like a lot of shrooms then too, and like Artscape was my favorite. Still my favorite.
It's gone now, by the way.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they cut the contract.
Mm-hmm.
It's dead.
What?
Yeah.
Completely?
It's dead.
After this year?
Yep.
Yeah, it's dead.
They'll find a way to bring it back.
No.
It was too much money.
It's
for the
been
city.
years.
No,
years
I went
now.
to it this year.
Yeah.
Did they have that little one this year?
It was a little one. I was confused because it was just like all booths and like no, like not that much art.
It'll get brought back. Don't worry.
I hope so. But I just remember it being crazy.
Oh yeah.
And then, I started dating my ex-husband who was like, I was very codependent. I think because watching my father and my mother who were very codependent, but my dad was like alpha male, very verbally abusive. My mom, very like subservient Korean wife. I watched that for years, and they were it was like culturally like not okay to get a divorce.
Yeah.
And they're Catholic, so it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just, I dealt with a lot of toxicity, just had a lot of like fighting, him putting her down all the time. I would like fight with my dad. I would like speak up and say shit to him, but then my mom would tell me to be quiet because it's like at the end of the day, and I know this now, she just wants to keep the peace in the house.
Yeah.
Even if that means biting her tongue all day. And now I know that I basically married a German guy who acted like a 50-year-old Korean man. It's like not even fair, okay?
Okay.
And so, yeah, my kids are half German, half Korean.
Okay.
And
So when did you have your first kid?
When I was 23.
Okay.
So
right around that time.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Okay.
I found out, like, I think it was only half a year of us dating, but he had given me like an engagement ring already.
Wow.
But then we like hurried the wedding to before Cody was born. Mm-hmm. So I was 8 months pregnant at my wedding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I had Cody because when I found out I was pregnant, I found out I was 6 months pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I wasn't showing at all.
Yeah.
And then like as soon as I found out I'm pregnant, like boom, it was like overnight.
Yep. And your body's like, oh, this is happening.
Yeah. And so it's like, oh, you're pregnant. Oh, and you're going to have a baby in 3 months. It's like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Life-changing event. I didn't really know how to even adult, let alone be a regular human being. But I think I just dove myself into being a mom. And those are the years I stayed clean because I didn't have... It was weird because the way it lines up is that I quit drinking and smoking cigarettes and everything right before like I was the conception time of Cody. And you know, you talk about higher power, it's just weird how it works out that way. I had Cody by that time I was married in a very toxic marriage. My husband was very controlling, manipulative, classic narcissistic, psychopath, sociopath, all the things. And I just remember like always being gaslit, you know, all the time. He would turn my friends against me, turn me against my friends, like talk shit about my family who like he didn't have family of his own. And he would just, it was very mentally and emotionally draining. Every day during those 5 years, it was like a prison. Like I wasn't even, I didn't even see friends outside of our house, but I did have play dates. I didn't have a car. So I would have like play dates during the day. But he would like come at home and he would drink all the time because he worked in like the drinking industry. But because I had 2 DUIs, he would just call me like an alcoholic while he's drinking. And then he kind of like, after Cody was born, he kind of slowly reintroduced, he's like, oh, you can have a sip here and there. I'm like, whatever. Right. And then I did. And I think it slowly started spiraling a little bit, but not enough because then I found out I was pregnant with Vera. So there's another like saving grace kind of thing. I didn't use throughout my pregnancies with either kid or during the time I was nursing. And then finally like I had the strength to get a divorce after 5 years. It was like I was pregnant with my daughter. My ex-husband pushed me while I was pregnant. He threw like his wedding ring. He would always do this every time he would get mad or we would have a fight. He's like throw his wedding ring. He would like get the marriage certificate, threaten to rip it in half, and like
what a
all
child.
That. Yeah,
Jesus,
it was crazy.
He like had the marriage certificate like on hand.
I guess so. I didn't even know what the fuck it was.
For theatrical purposes. Like, what a dick.
I didn't even know where the fuck it was.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
fuck that guy.
And finally, I like went to my parents' house. And I didn't leave. Right. It wasn't far, but he slowly like coerced, like he then was like, okay, I agreed to do like marriage counseling. Before he'd be like, oh, I would never, you know, I'm too smart for the therapist. And and so he agreed to it. I somehow believed him. You kind of believe your like abuser. You like kind of get tied into it. You're like put under a spell.
You had Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, Stockholm syndrome, and there's kids involved. So it's like you think it's better to stay with the kids. So then I stayed with the kid. I stayed with the father for a little longer, and then like financial issues, we ended up living with my parents, and I think that was when it finally had the strength. They like kicked him out at one point. He was disrespectful to my family. He didn't help me with the kids. He never really did help me with the kids. He didn't change a diaper the first year Cody was born.
Jeez.
He
So your parents were supportive.
Yeah.
To a degree.
To a degree, because when you're with someone, they want to help. So be like, go ask your husband, or like. But I felt so stuck because I was like, I'm trying here, but like I'm getting help from nobody because they want him to help. He's just like, go ask your mom, and I just learned.
Eventually, they were just like, get out of here.
Yeah, I learned how to do everything on my own really fast, and this was a difficult time because I had just found out like Cody was autistic. He was about to turn 4. At that point, like Vera was there, so like a baby. He's 2 and 4, and my ex-husband was just like, we need to get a second opinion. I'm just like, I know in my gut, like, there's something off. That's why I got it. He's like, I don't want our son to be labeled as special, like a sped kid the rest of his life. Meanwhile, I'm like just trying to do the best thing for him. And I'm also navigating new territories at that point.
Yeah.
As a special needs mom. And I think just like at that point, I didn't let it like affect me.
Yeah.
I just kind of like dove into being a special needs mom. I did everything like CCAC, Special Education Community Action Council, Autism Society, the ARC, Pathfinders for Autism. I did all the events. I went to all the meetings.
Oh, yeah.
And I did everything. Oh, hello, Ginger Cat.
Oh my God, you do exist. I haven't seen you in forever.
So cute.
I've not seen this cat in years. This is a ghost cat.
I don't remember last time I saw a ginger cat.
It's been a while. Okay, keep going.
So okay, yeah.
And, diving into
being a mom and and then like at some point, like, you know, my family was like, he needs to go. He needs to fucking go. And he just left, and he would like say he needed to see his kids. The kids shouldn't be without their father. But at that point, I'd realized like, no, I would rather the kids not think it's okay to treat women this way, for my son to think it's okay, for my daughter to think this is what she deserved as a woman.
Yeah.
And I just, it was a very hard decision.
Oh, yeah.
I still deal with like shame and guilt from it because now the kids are older and they ask certain questions sometimes. But it's still, you know, it was a hard road ahead of me. Divorce was very difficult.
Yeah.
He did not make things easy.
No.
I'm still dealing with child support issues.
I'm sure.
And then like a year and a half later, I met my ex-fiance. You know, I talked about doing a lot of karaoke, right? There was a place in Oakland Mills, Second Chance.
Yep.
I would go there every week. Like I went there for my birthday. Before then, I had never gone out besides with the kids.
Yeah.
And then I decided on my birthday we would go to karaoke because I had never done like open mic karaoke. So I went into karaoke and I had like an edible. So I was like, ate an edible, like gave some dude I just met who ended up being a good friend an edible. And it was just vibing. That's when I met my ex-fiance. And we were kind of like inseparable after that. At first, like I kind of
karaoke and edibles will do that every time.
Yeah. And I thought like he was a nicer guy. He was like such a nerd who played D&D. He was a DJ and like EVE Online and all that stuff. And and then like, I don't know, he didn't know how to. I had a lot of underlying trauma and PTSD.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to deal with it. I was still very codependent. I had like panic attacks regularly and anxiety. I was taking like Adderall for ADHD medication. I never abused it, but
Still part of the equation.
It's still part of the equation. And then every time I would just go and smoke at night.
Yep.
And I think it started very small. Like my brother was a stoner too. Like I just got out of the military and then he smoked like every day after, you know? So we were at these times in our lives that we just wanted to smoke. And it started with like once a day, end of work, and then I started going to karaoke more, and then every time I went to karaoke, I wasn't drinking at the time. I was sober from alcohol for 6 years.
Nice.
But then I think I supplemented that by starting to smoke weed. And at some point I was like smoking on karaoke nights, then on the weekends, and then it was just like an everyday thing, and then it was like every minute of the day. Okay.
Yeah.
Like it builds up so fast.
Oh yeah.
So I was smoking all the time, and then I would like get shrooms, and I would just like microdose on shrooms and with weed, and it was just like the perfect concoction with Adderall. Like, yay!
Oh yeah.
And I'm still doing all the things for my kids, so yeah, I don't have a problem. But like, I'm like, you know, eating like an edible here and there, and after that, during COVID time, we had to do online learning. So I was like working at my dad's liquor store, not drinking. I was working at 2 liquor stores at the time actually, and ironically, I wasn't drinking at the time.
Your dad owns a liquor store?
He did for 6 years in DC.
Oh, in DC. I was like, is it around here? Is it like
No, it was in DC, which is a whole other thing. Oh boy. He actually got that liquor store for my ex-husband and I. because he wanted us to be okay. That's the way he was.
That's kind.
Yeah. And my ex-husband was a dick, you know? He like didn't show his appreciation. My dad was micromanaging too. So being in the middle of that storm was not cool.
Yeah.
And they're just like, DC being new liquor store owners, people will try and steal all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Try and do all the things. And then finally, COVID learning happened. I had to stop working. And I had to teach both of my kids virtual learning at home. And then I found out how hard it was to be a special educator and a therapist. Just like we had to do everything at home.
Yeah.
And eventually I just like, I don't know, there was never enough weed or edibles. And at the point I was doing dabs all the time too. Like all the time.
Yeah.
Which is like a surefire way to get your tolerance even higher.
Yeah.
And
just make you fried.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I just eventually found like an old box of alcohol with my dad's. And I told my ex-fiance, I was like, hey, let's take a shot for your birthday. I don't even know where it came from. I had never thought about drinking before. And I was just like, oh, I'd be fine. Like, I haven't drank in a while. Weed's my thing. Man. Whatever. I'm a stoner chick. I need to get dreads. I really did want to get like dreads and braids. That was fucking weird.
I had dreadlocks at one point.
Cool.
No, it wasn't.
Wait, David, you had dreadlocks?
We're not going to talk about
Are there
this.
pictures of you with dreadlocks?
We're not going to talk about this.
Probably.
Oh, man.
I'll find the pictures, Eric.
Yes, please send them to me too. Okay, yeah. And he just,
I hate you, Eric.
yeah, at some point, my ex-fiance didn't know how to deal with my lying about my drinking.
Yeah.
Because it just escalated very quickly. I would be getting up in the morning, pounding a Monster, and then drinking tequila, like one after another, make sure everyone's fed, then take my Adderall. And it was just like an ongoing cycle of just self-destruction, you know? Yeah. I was like 90 pounds. Yeah, and things got so bad that, and financially we're just at the house. We ended up moving to Sparks. My brothers bought the house that my parents lived in. He bought my parents' house. He was like, y'all have to go. Because my ex-fiance at the time wasn't paying to live there. Oh. So he had like eventually just like moved in.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to talk to people. I was just smoking all the time. And we moved to Sparks for about half a year, and things got bad really quickly. I was away from friends and family, had to make new friends. I got a job at Milton Inn, which is a very well-known establishment. And I always had a prescription for Xanax. I never took it because I was like scared, right? Okay. But I had a lot of it.
That's awesome.
And, yeah.
Shut up.
Plus, I was like all about not being tired. I didn't want to slow down. I was like, I think I was.
I love your thought process, though. You're like, I'm gonna stock this.
Yeah, I know.
Just in case.
I'm gonna fill this prescription every month, but I don't think I'm gonna.
Yeah, pretty much. So I found the Xanax, and then I started taking it, and I started drinking, and I started smoking, and this all happened as a result of my ex-fiance putting his hands on me because I was lying about my drinking. And he ended up, like, I was blackout drunk, and he ended up beating me.
What?
And
Jesus.
I didn't even know what happened. I woke up, I had, like, black eye. I had, like, bruises on my face. And I think when everything soaked in, like, that this had happened, is when I started utilizing the Xanax. And things just got worse.
Well, yeah. When you mix that with alcohol, things get weird.
Yeah. I would just like black out all the time. Before that, my tolerance had gotten so high that I would never black out. Which tells you like how much I was intaking. You know, I'm like 90 pounds, drinking and smoking every minute of the day, never blacking out, remembering everything. Probably the Adderall too.
Yeah. Adderall, Xanax, and alcohol and weed. That's a hell of a cocktail.
Yeah. And so eventually we got to this point where the cops were called. The kids weren't there at that time. He pushed me out the house, and I like hit my head, and I had to call the cops because I think at that point I was like, something's gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call the cops. And I was pretty fucked up, to be honest, but I still called the cops because somehow I still, like, I had so much self-destruction and, like, self-hatred, but I was, like, thought about the kids. In that moment, it was weird. Like, I decided to reach out for help. Last time I saw my ex-fiance, he was being handcuffed and taken away by the cops. And that's when I moved back to Columbia. And I couldn't see anyone after that. And that's when I went to rehab.
Okay.
So at rehab is when I got introduced to Narcotics Anonymous. I went to
Nice.
Hope House in Laurel.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
My wife went there.
Yeah, in 2022, January. And it was great. It was weird at first because my brain was obviously going through a huge transition. And I finally was able to, like, sing and dance again. And then, you know, you leave rehab and you have to keep doing the things, but then, like, you're not surrounded by it anymore.
Yeah.
But I did go to my first NA meeting. It just was hard for me to continuously go. I didn't understand why we had to go to so many.
Yeah.
But the first NA meeting I ever went to was at Friday night at Serenity Center. Keep it real. It was Miranda's anniversary.
Ooh.
So it was an
nice.
anniversary night.
Miranda, Eric.
Yeah.
I know. I like her.
Yes.
So it was crazy, though. It was a lot of people.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was very overwhelmed. I still,
Eric would hate it.
I still had the balls to be like, hey, I'm new. I just came out of rehab. And then I, like,
Oh, you
zoomed.
raised your hand?
I did.
Oh,
I actually might have been there at that meeting.
Really?
Yeah.
When I was new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miranda's anniversary 2022.
Yeah.
I might have been there.
Yeah. So I left there and, like, waited a few minutes and, like, beelined out of there, like,
Of
before
course.
the meeting was over.
Yeah, of course.
And then
You asked for help and then you run away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I went outside and, like, someone had followed me outside, and that was Christina.
Nice.
And so she was like, hey, you should get my number. There's a women's meeting on Thursdays. I was like, chain smoking cigarettes. Sorry. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm smoking. You know, she's like, it's fine. So, you know, I reached out. She was like the first number I had in NA. I remember during those next few days, I, like, went to one AA meeting and, like, never went back again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just happened that way. It's just
Yeah.
like I vibe better with NA. Not saying, like, other people don't benefit from it.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand it. And for me, I thought I needed to understand it to do it, right? Like, why does reading some book and writing some things, how is that going to help me in any shape or form?
Yeah.
I have ADHD. It's hard for me to read and sit and write, you know? And plus at that time, again, my brain's still going through the transition. And so in 6 months, I'm almost done.
you're good.
In 6 months after that, I ended up, like, moving to Hanover, which is more on the Elkridge side.
Yeah.
And
Right over by me.
yeah. And I basically was like, oh, I don't know any meetings around here. I still had no car at that point. So I just kind of lived on 24/7 Zoom meetings for a little bit. Even after, so I had a relapse. I got really suicidal. I got very depressed and suicidal. And my brother's like, better being like smoking some weed, right, than wanting to die. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And so I ended up smoking. And then I was smoking all the fucking time again.
Yeah.
It just built up so fucking quickly.
Yep.
And I was playing hide and seek with my kids, and I went into the closet and it sat on a box and it, like, clinked. This was like a month after I started smoking weed again. And I knew the sound of just bottles clinking around. I knew there was alcohol. I had never gone across anything, but I found my dad's stash, and he had all the good stuff that he had gone from, like, selling the store. All the good shit. All the strong shit. I was a whiskey drinker. I loved Bullet Rye. That was, like, my drink. Yeah, it was my drink of choice.
Nice.
I know, right?
That's a badass drink right there.
5'1", acting like 6'4", right? And so I started, like, I remember initially just like not drinking. I didn't care about it.
Yeah.
And then like 2 days, it just wouldn't leave my fucking mind. It was like there, it's festering, and I finally caved in and I drank, and it was just really bad. It got really dark real quick.
Oh yeah.
I would just drink in the morning, drink like a Capri Sun after.
Yummy.
Bullet Ryan Capri Sun.
Yeah, exactly.
Breakfast of champions.
And then like my dad had all this other whiskey that was stronger than Bullet. And I didn't even care. I was like, stronger the better. And I would just get fucked up. I would like also started reconnecting with a few people, but I didn't want to reconnect with the people. A lot of people I had been mutual friends with my ex-fiance.
Yeah.
I just knew someone who was a good friend and another parent, but like I guess had other intentions. But he would like bring me weed, and then like I would go there, and he would be like, "Do you want a drink?" And I was like, "Gosh, yes, please, all above." And our kids can play too, and we can, whatever. He was trying to like play house, I think, and I was just too fucked up and like mentally unstable to like be okay. And then I had a really I hit a breaking point. Like I had drink and smoked so much that I had a psychotic break, and I ended up at like the roof of my friend's house with a box of donuts. It's another story. I think we're already over.
Okay.
and calling someone in my recovery network, because at that point I still had some numbers. And I was like, because it was like I wanted so desperately to like be better than where I was. Yeah. Be in that cycle again. But I didn't know how to get better. I was already in it. Yeah. But I still was reaching out, and they called the cops. I remember running. I was like, fuck you, fuck the police. And I was just like ran to an empty construction site. And I went through a little tiny hole in the fence. Oh, sorry, I punched your mic. And it just like, finally the cops came, and my sponsor came, and my one of the Swansea network people came. Because at that point I thought people were after me, like they wanted to take me away from my kids. I was not normal. I was having like a psychotic episode, and they EP'd my ass. What else were they gonna do? Like I think it's when they I don't remember the name. It's basically when you have to go legally to the hospital.
Okay,
EP. European plant. Fuck you.
European plants.
Whatever. I will remember it later. I went to the hospital. They had me on like Haldol there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and all that stuff. When I got a little stable, I still wasn't stable. I was a little more stable. I went and packed a bag. My brother did not want my kids to see me the way I was. Went to Hope House. Hope House turned my ass away. They were like, you got a lot of other shit going on. We cannot help you here. You need to go to the psych ward. So I went to Shepherd Pratt, and I detoxed in Shepherd Pratt. And I spoke with Christina every day there. She came and visited me, and she was like, she suggested, why don't I actually, you got to do something different to be somewhere different. Yeah. You can't just keep doing the same shit. And she was like, do you really want something different? And I knew that if I didn't change, I would lose my kids. I was not allowed to see my kids for several months after that. It was the hardest time of my life. Yeah. And I decided to take her suggestions, and I did all of the interviews while I was at Shepherd Pratt for an IOP PHP program and to live at a recovery house. So I moved into SOARSA, which is the Oxford House in Columbia for women and children, lived there for almost a year, and I did IOP PHP for almost a year.
Hell yeah.
And then finally my parents were okay with me coming back home. And my first year of recovery was really miserable. Like I was going through all the med stuff, trying to find stuff that worked for me because I thought I needed medication to get me better.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I think I just had enough, you know? I don't recommend this, but I just kind of like ran out of medication and I was like, oh, well, whatever.
Yeah.
and I realized I didn't die. Like I was fine. If anything, I got better. I stopped dissociating. I stopped feeling worse. I got better. And all of a sudden, like I felt like myself again. I thought it would never happen in recovery.
Yeah.
And then I met a good friend in the recovery network, and she was also very like into music, and I was able to find music again this year. It's Kirsten.
Oh, yeah. I was like, who?
We just vibed because like she became my bestie real quick because like we had gone through the same things.
Okay.
Yeah. We had been through a lot of the same things, and we both loved music.
Yeah.
And so because of her, I think, and other people in this fellowship, I was able to find music and be okay with it. It took me almost a year and a half to get there, but I got there. Being depressed in recovery is quite a miserable place to be in.
Yes.
You like almost don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I have to say that if you just stick and stay, you don't use, it does get better.
Hell yeah.
You just don't give up. It's hard. It's definitely hard. I didn't want to call people. I'm at the depths of my depression. I thought I would never be happy again. Dissociating around your kids is not cool. It's not fun. I had like, what is it? Where you're like apathetic to the point where you don't enjoy things anymore. There's a term for it. I'm not even going to try.
Yeah.
But it got better, and now I'm like the happiest I've ever been. You know, I'm like singing again. I'm dancing again. Thank you, Halsey, and his ecstatic dances.
Yep.
Fuck yeah, I can dance again. I don't need 5 prescription medication to get me through it.
Yeah.
I'm on day 8 of no Celsius.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
that's like a huge one for me.
That's an energy drink, right?
Yeah.
Yes. That's a very strong energy drink.
Yeah, it has 200 milligrams of caffeine for one. I was drinking 4 to 5 a day.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's toxic levels
Yes.
of caffeine.
And then I just didn't even drink coffee because I think it's messing up my stomach more. I've just been drinking black tea. And
Good.
it's been really hard, especially this past weekend. But I got through it.
Put some
like
green tea in there too.
Yeah.
I love green tea.
Yeah, I like green tea too. Have you ever had like peppermint green tea?
Yes.
It's
I
good as
love
shit.
peppermint green tea.
Fucking love it.
Fucking right.
Trader Joe's.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. When did Salem get here?
I don't know. Yeah. Old Thackeray Banks just roaming the castle.
But yeah, I am in service now. Like I do H&I back to the garden suite of Shepherd Pratt, where I was there twice in my first year of recovery. First for detox, second for mental health issues. I went, and now I bring a meeting once a month in there. And all the nurses keep rooting me on. It's amazing. They've seen me in all different levels.
Yeah.
And they see that I'm actually better than I ever been. And I now want to help people, and that's how I gain more, like, I just gain so much from helping others. I'm also very active in the autism network.
Yeah.
You know? Cody's doing like 2 social skills groups right now. One's virtual, one's in person. He's doing like Special Olympic soccer. He's doing just all these great things. Maybe too much. Maybe that part of me, like, I'm kind of a little bit like my dad, like, we're like doing this and doing that.
Typical Asian mom.
Exactly. But we like to talk about things.
Yeah.
And I will make sure we talk about things. I punch your mic again. God damn it. Sorry. And I also just, I am starting to, like, be okay with myself. And I'm trying to accept myself the way I am. I started trauma therapy, too.
Nice.
That has been a big help. I think we started EMDR already. talking, just having a network though is like therapy. It's like free therapy, right? We can just call someone and be like, yo. And there's always a person for everything. It's like the yellow book of recovery. It's like, hey, there's a car guy, there's a fucking hair person. Like,
and it's funny, if you made a Yellow Pages reference to Kirsten, she'd be like, what's that?
Yeah.
Like, you young bitch, shut up. All right.
Keep aging myself. So
I know.
yeah, I just love what life is. And I just got not a lot of people know this, but I got a new job.
Nice.
I've been an orthodontic assistant / clinical supervisor.
Ooh.
And I just got hired at Northrop Grumman.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be a state technician. I butchered that too. I need more caffeine. No, I don't.
No.
But I kind of do.
All right. Well, we got some questions for you.
Sure.
Would you like to go first, Eric?
You can go first.
All right. I'm going to start with a fun question. So, we're of the same generation, and you being an Asian woman, as a kid, did you watch Mulan?
I definitely watched Mulan.
Okay.
My brother and I were huge Disney kids.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, was that an empowering movie as an Asian woman? To a degree.
To a degree, only because I was very like, I'm not Chinese. Don't you call me Chinese.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks I'm Chinese.
Yeah, exactly. So I knew it was different cultures, and that's why I was specifically, Asian woman.
But I did like
They are
the
similar.
story.
Yeah, they are similar cultures.
Yeah.
Like Japanese, Chinese, and Korean cultures are all in the same realm of each
Exactly.
other. Yeah.
But I think if I want to watch it today, I definitely find it empowering.
Nice.
As a kid, it was just another Disney film.
Yeah.
And I love Disney films.
Yeah. And the one thing I like, especially in like our generation and like what we've seen, is it's not just, white princesses anymore.
Exactly.
Because that was the thing forever. It was just, Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Ariel, Belle. And it was just like, okay, can we get something else?
Yeah.
And then, like, really, it was like Pocahontas and Mulan were the very first, like, branches out from there. And then, and then you have Tiana, and you have Moana, and you have all these, like...
Yeah, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
And Raya.
Yeah. Oh, you have Raya. And even super Scottish, Merida. Like, just really branching out from just the typical, like, archetypal white European woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Is really awesome.
And the storylines behind it. It's not about just finding a prince anymore.
Yeah, and like that's what like the people like when they actually were like researching Moana. Anybody who's listening to this, you're getting some Disney right now. You're welcome. Like they said, like the Polynesian people had been swallowed by America for so long that this is the first time that we get to be swallowed by their culture,
right?
And really get immersed in their culture and what they're all about. It was something really cool.
And it was such a popular movie.
Yeah.
Solid State Technician. Sorry.
Solid State Technician.
That is my job title.
Nice.
The pre-employment stuff has been kind of stressful, but it's I'm so excited to learn. My parents, like the moment my mom was like, because my family's going through a lot to regain their trust in me.
Of course.
Letting go of resentments. It's been a whole thing.
Yeah.
But when I said I have a government job, they stopped bitching about anything. I was like, okay.
Oh, okay.
I know. So that, and plus a big thing was Andy met my parents for the first time.
Oh.
Yeah, this weekend. So a lot of great things just happened this weekend. And then don't forget, next weekend is Halloween karaoke.
Oh, I know.
And
Hell yeah.
I did this to myself, but I planned another event for the next day, which is a Halloween party for neurodivergent teens.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be at Elkridge Library. I've done a lot of the footwork, but I've like kind of merged with two autism moms I know. And I love doing shit like that.
Yeah.
And giving my son the opportunity to like socialize, because they're at that age where they want to socialize, but they hate being paired up. They don't want you to mom them into seeing a friend, but they also still like behind the scenes, want those connections. So
we're still humans, and we crave, socialization.
Exactly.
All right, what you got, Eric?
This is kind of more of a fun question. What Korean heritage, like culture, do you still practice or take with you that you grew up with? Like, is there anything special like from Korean culture that you celebrate, or are you pretty like American centric with like Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving and all that horse shit?
She's Catholic, dude.
I know.
Okay.
That doesn't mean she doesn't celebrate stuff. Like,
Okay.
there might be different things in Korea.
They do have Korean New Year's.
Well, yeah, like they have Chinese New Year's.
Yeah,
I know that. Like, is that the same?
There's a Korean
when
New
is
Year's?
Korean New Year's?
Korean New Year's is around Chinese New Year's. I should know this, but it's around that time, and you get money from like your elders. You gotta bow to them. There's a special bow. It's called Chuseok. You have special food like dumplings, soup, and you get like rice cakes with like delicious fillings in it, and it's a whole thing. Also, bring with my Korean heritage all the superstition. So all the shit they say, like if you whistle at night, a snake will come out from under your bed, or like
What?
Yeah, if you laugh and you cry at the same time, you'll have a hairy butthole. Like all those weird things.
Stop. Go back. What did you say?
If you laugh and you cry at the same time, you'll have a hairy butthole.
Who tells you that?
Is that an actual?
Is that
actually a Korean thing?
It's like a rhyme. Like,
What?
It's like
Wait.
울다가 웃으면 똥구멍에 털 난대. It's literally what it means.
Wait, who informs you of this?
I don't know. It's like my parents, my older like family
So
members.
people are just like, hold on. So wait. People are like, yo, if you're gonna get a hairy butthole, like if you like,
Have you been laughing and crying at the same time?
No, it's like you know what they
Contact
say.
us today.
You know what they say. If you laugh and you cry,
you'll get a hairy butthole.
yeah, exactly.
So ridiculous. Okay.
That's great.
All right.
Oh my god.
What am I gonna go with? What did the World Convention mean to you?
Oh man, the World Convention was such a spiritual experience for me. It was amazing. I think just being connected to people all around.
Was that your first convention?
That was my first World Convention, not my first convention.
What did you go to the Ocean City convention?
Yes.
Okay.
That was my second time at the Ocean City convention.
Okay.
And then so World Convention would make it my third convention. Convention's a funny word.
Yeah.
And so
World's was a whole new animal.
it was a whole other different. It was a whole level. I loved dancing. Oh my god, that last night dancing was crazy. And I think so. Kelly and I did this thing where we got our basic text.
Oh yeah. You were doing the yearbook thing.
Yeah, so we got it signed from all these people. They were right there, name, clean date, and where they're from. So it was a great way to connect to people.
Yeah.
And it was just a beautiful thing just to see everyone. I think the most memorable experience was doing the yearbook thing, getting people to sign it, and just taking pictures of rando addicts, which is like awesome thing to do there.
Yeah.
And then the last day when they did the Unity Day, some people didn't stay for that.
Yeah.
But that day was amazing. I actually saw videos on my phone where we called different correctional facilities and places in different states they did like an H&I Zoom to like 10 different places, and every time they would zoom and pan into the screen, everyone did their high like this. They would do their high.
Yeah.
That shit almost had me in tears. That was amazing. Nice. It was so beautiful just to see how people connected, and then to see how you are never going to see a group full of that many grateful people.
Yeah.
Until you go to a world fucking convention. Oh, yeah. Dude, like that was amazing.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
It's just so inspirational just to hear everyone, because then I kind of connected on that level of like having people come from different cultures and what that looked like. You know, that was very intriguing to me.
Yeah.
I hope that I'll be able to go to another one someday.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, there was a huge gap. So it was my second year was the last time it was close to here. It was up in Philly, and then it's been in Australia,
Right.
and Brazil. I knew some people who went down to Rio for that one, and then the last one before this one got canceled because of COVID.
Oh,
So this was the
dang.
first one back.
Yeah.
But so I hadn't had a chance to go to a world, and my second year I was just, I don't know, shit was going on, and I didn't end up getting up to Philly. So this was my first world convention too. And yeah, and I'd been to Ocean City a whole bunch of times.
Right.
And yeah, that was like, world convention was massive. It was crazy. It's crazy. It's 10 times the size of Ocean City, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah, dude. I got so much merch. Like, Andy was like, "How much did you spend on merch?" I was like, "I don't want to tell you."
Yeah. None of your business, Andy. Mind your business. If you listen to this, mind your fucking business.
Yeah, but then I got him merch too that he
Yeah,
like
of
loved. So it was just a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
I hope one day I can do that like with my kids one day, you know?
Yeah.
And they can understand how mommy got better. You know?
That might be a title there.
What?
How Mommy Got Better.
Ooh, that is a good title.
That's a really good title. What else you got?
So I keep hearing that you sing. So what do you sing? Like what style of music? And how long have you been like doing music? And do you play anything else, or do you just sing?
She plays piano. Weren't you listening?
Well, I heard that
plays
part,
shitty piano.
but she didn't like it. You know, she was like being forced to play piano.
Can you still play piano?
I can still play piano. I just haven't practiced it actively in a while. I love like going and being in the karaoke scenes for so many years. I was with my ex-fiance. It's such a fucking long ass word to say.
Yeah.
But let's just call him I don't even know.
Asshole.
5 years, like 10 years with abusive partners, you know? But I like to sing a variety of things. I love listening to all types of music. I'm not picky when it comes to music. Andy did say, well, have you ever heard of dolphin core? I was like, what the fuck is that?
Dolphin core.
Is it some sort of ridiculous metal?
With dolphin sounds? I don't fucking know. That's what I envision.
That's whale. You don't speak whale.
Sorry.
But yeah, I love singing. So like my go-to karaoke song is "Zombie" by the Cranberries.
Oh, that's a good one.
Great pick.
Yeah, I
Great
like
pick.
Santeria by Sublime.
Yes, I've sang karaoke
Yeah?
to that one. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Sublime was always one of my karaoke
Yeah.
go-tos.
And Enter Sandman by Metallica.
Nice.
Bleh, I can't even say it.
Yep.
So you gotta come. We gotta jam.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
That'd be
it'll
awesome.
happen.
So it's just, I think now being spiritual, because I have kind of like a weird relationship with the G word.
Yeah. Well, you're a Catholic, of course you do.
Yeah, all that shit. But I bring my kids, while I was in treatment, my mom and my brother started taking them to church regularly. I hadn't done that for a long time. We would go like on Easter, or like for Korean New Year's or Christmas, right? But my daughter loves.
Dude, I love Christmas church because they have the dopest hymns.
Yeah, they do.
Dude, the best church hymns were Christmas.
Yeah, and like
Silent
Korean,
Night and Oh Holy Night. And,
and then hearing the Korean version of that is really cool too.
Oh, sure. Hell yeah.
So I don't know. I'm trying to reconnect with it. I feel that's something where I'm progressing.
My sister and I will literally go to church around Christmas just to sing
Just
the
to
hymns.
hear-
Just to sing the hymns because they're
Nice.
so awesome. Like, we are not practicing Christians in any way whatsoever, but like we have that memory of like, just wailing in like this awesome acoustic room, and like
Right?
you can sing as loud as you want. Nobody
What's your
can say anything.
favorite Christmas hymn?
Dude, it's got to be Silent Night. Silent Night is amazing to sing when it's a whole room of people. It's fucking awesome. And also, did at your church, would they give you a candle so you get to like hold your candle?
Yes.
Hell yeah. So me and my sisters would be totally shitty, and we'd put all our candles together and make like a giant flame.
Oh my
It'd be
God.
terrible.
Sounds like a thing kids
Oh,
would
we were a
do.
fucking menace.
Yeah. I'm looking up the lyrics of Silent Night. Maybe we could sing it.
No, not on the air. No. You might
sure?
you might get me on Christmas, not tonight.
Okay.
But yeah. What else? What were you just saying? Problem with the G word.
Oh, Vera has been wanting to do altar serving. She's been doing it
Okay.
for like
Yeah.
over a year now, and it costs money to be an altar server.
What?
I don't know. Yeah, it's like $120 per year. I guess they have stuff like you got to get like your outfits. But
For Catholics, yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. I'll bring her to those. I'll bring them to church. But I don't feel like I'll do it for the kids and my mother. I just feel a little out of place there.
Yeah.
Also, like church for me when I was in high school was like where I learned to steal shit. Like, you know, around the church kids. Like they were the ones who
Of
stole
course.
first. I was like, whoa, what are you doing? Like it was crazy.
You have to thin.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do that.
It was crazy. Yeah, and I don't know. I also like went to a church lock-in once with the older adults, and they just like had so much soju there. Like it was weird.
Yeah.
I feel so bad, but I think it's a good community for my kids. Like it's come a long way, for sure. And there's some good kids there. So, I think I feel a little out of place, but I find spirituality through music.
Yeah.
All the time.
You rounded that back so well.
Right.
Because we had completely gone from like karaoke just into like church hymns and then all
know.
the way. And then you were like, but then music is very spiritual.
Yeah, it's just how my brain works.
That was a perfect roundabout.
3 different tangents, and then we go back to the beginning.
And my final question is, how have you, like you said, you were like doing EMDR and, working on yourself, obviously in recovery and outside as well.
Right.
But like, having like, some daddy issues and like some very difficult trauma with men.
Yeah.
How difficult has that been to work through? And also like finding a really good guy like Andy.
Right. So the great thing about recovery is that we learn how to talk, right? We learn that holding it in is how you end up being where you were in the first place. I was the master of suppression, right?
Yeah.
I was
that's a great title too, though, Eric. The master of suppression. Oh, damn it.
No, the other one's better.
Yeah, the other one's better, but that's pretty good. Okay, so you were the master of suppression.
Yeah, I learned from my dad, the master of suppressing.
Now I just have master of puppets going through my head.
That's right. It's like a
master. Sorry.
But it's just like I would just do. I would think like I had no time to stop. I have no time to feel. I just keep doing it, and I'll just smoke it away anyways. That was the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
But in recovery, it's like I have people I can talk to, that I talk to Christina almost every day, about every day. She's just
Christina your sponsor?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. The first person I met in recovery is my sponsor.
Have you listened to her podcast?
I did.
Her podcast is amazing.
It was funny as shit. The whole I always talk about the donkey story.
Oh yeah.
So it's been, if something were to bother me, I at least don't hold my tongue about it. I communicate, and that's something I really cherish about Andy and my relationship, is that I'm able to tell him when something's bothering me, that if something genuinely hurt my feelings, and he does the same for me too.
Yeah.
We really have strong communication. We're both working on a recovery, but separately.
Yes.
But also we like go to meetings together sometimes. But our recovery is separate, but we are able to uplift each other.
Hell yeah.
And he understands my sensory needs. Like I'm like, my kids and I are both sensory as fuck. Like you look at my car, it's full of fidgets. I have probably 4 in my bag right now. And it's just I understand that very well. And I was going somewhere with this. Where was I going with this? What was the question again?
Dealing with,
Andy.
daddy issues, trauma with men, and then coming to,
Yeah, with Andy.
Build a good relationship for first time in a long time.
Exactly. He also like keeps telling me how I can better myself, but I don't feel the codependency.
Yeah.
That I feel like, oh, his happiness makes my happiness, you know? I just try to be there for him and support him if he's having a bad day. I am still like, I'm mom mode, everybody.
Yeah.
Girlfriend mode, whatever, sister mode. It's all like the same thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm a very caretaker type of person, to a fault, you know?
Yeah.
Like your comfort is better than my comfort. As long as you're good, I'm fine, right? But we're still learning about things, you know, we're in our year 2 of recovery. He's got about half a year in front of me. But it's all like a process. And I see that we're just getting closer. Whatever we might have dealt with last year, we've gotten better from already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, we're watching each other get better individually. And he said, like, and we both agree, if we're not working on it ourselves independently, then you can't work as a unit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And I think communication is such a big part. And we're learning to trust in this process, too, which is a huge thing.
Oh, yeah.
And EMDR.
Yep. All right. You got any last questions, Eric?
No, I think we're it. That's it.
All right. Well, we would like to thank our guest, Michelle, for joining us this evening.
Woo! Yay!
One last quick minute to talk to anybody out there struggling, need to hear a message of hope. What do you have to say directly to them?
Wait.
You.
Silent night.
No, my God. No.
Holy night.
Nope. Not doing it. All is calm. All is bright. Nope. Okay, that's it. That's all you get. Yes. So anybody out there listening, struggling, just have a silent night. You know, a holy night.
That sounds like death.
I can't believe you. I can't
Have a
believe you got me
silent
to do
night?
that. I can't believe you got me to do that. Yeah, silent night is dope, dude. Dude, when you hear a whole choir
I'm just...
and a whole room sing it together, it is fucking. It is a banger.
I'm just saying the way that you said it made it sound more like a hit. You know,
dude, it is a hit.
Yeah.
It's a hit. It's a hit by Jesus, man.
Right to
Jesus
the heart.
wrote that.
Right to the heart.
He took 2 days behind a rock in a cave and was like, "Let me write this banger out real
Christ
quick
the Savior
before
is born.
I am risen." Yeah. Christ
basically,
the Savior is
let's
born.
say I'll kind of somehow connect that to Silent Night.
Okay.
We're like a phoenix, right? We're reborn from our ashes, right?
that.
Used to be the name of my bong, but I'm renaming it to my process now.
Nice.
The Phoenix.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I'm reborn. I never thought this kind of lifestyle was possible, but it is.
Yep.
It's just about breaking the cycle.
Yeah.
It really is about breaking the cycle, ending the loops, and just starting to show up for yourself finally, because we all deserve it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us once again. And here at Podcast Recovery, we're aiming to expand the scope of support for recovering addicts. Accessibility and convenience of helpful services is paramount to combating addiction. We believe that a powerful voice of recovery should be obtainable, practical, and at the touch of a button. Every addict deserves to hear a message of hope, and Podcast Recovery is here to provide it. Eric, I just did that off the top of my head. You should be proud.
That's great. Good job.
God damn it. I need more validation than that.
Heavenly peace.
No, we're not sleeping in heavenly peace right now. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Go to all our social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify. If you want to become part of the Podcast Recovery family, home group, join our Patreon and, give us a few shekels because we are self-supporting and need help keeping the mics on. But most importantly, everybody out there,
stay safe and stay clean.